Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining Housing and Community Development's 360 Road to Home Ownership Series. Today is our first series, which is our Credit One-on-One Quick Stop, which is followed by 3 additional series. The next series that will take place on June 23rd is our One Way to Building the Perfect Team. Our third series will take place July 22nd, which is Road Rules, What to Expect. And our final and fourth series will be held August 26th, Housing Tune-Ups, Maintenance and Care After Ownership. I would like to take the time to make a few introductions. First, I would like to introduce our director. His name is Tom McCaslin. And I would like to introduce the outreach team. I'm Onika Porter, the admin manager for the outreach team. Latasha Smith, she's our community involvement coordinator. Pedro Sosa, he's our community liaison. Becky Benitez is also a community liaison. And Dejanay Jones is a community liaison. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sherry with the Credit Coalition. I think we've lost some sound. I don't know if I can see a thumbs up or down. Miss Latasha?
We can hear you.
All
Sherry,
right.
we can hear you.
All righty. We just couldn't hear the video. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Sherry with the Credit Coalition. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency here in Houston, and we provide free financial and home buyer education classes. We also do reverse mortgage counseling. We also provide foreclosure intervention counseling for folks that have their mortgage and have trouble. So again, I am loading my PowerPoint here, and we should begin in just a moment. I know that I've already seen some people in the class that have taken our Fundamentals Good Credit class. I'll just say this, that I am just like one of those pieces of paper that stick to your shoe, you just can't shake off. So you'll get me again today. All righty, so our presentation today is Credit 101, our path to home ownership. This PowerPoint presentation will be made available to you later, from what I understand. So here we go. If you're listening today, you're probably on the path to home ownership or thinking that you might want to be. So today we will be talking about the 4 steps. The 4 steps to home ownership. First, get our finances in order. Our second will be to know who and what you owe and building a spending plan. Our third is tracking that spending and receipts, save those receipts. And then our fourth is attend a home buyer education class. That's what's going to get you started on your path. So my question here is, I don't know if I can see with a show of hands or if folks can just place in the chat, but my first question to everyone is, have you seen your free credit reports and your specialty reports in the past 12 months? I don't know if anybody has. I can't see the chat, but I see some hands up. So if you have, my next question is, how did you order those reports? Did you receive them through Credit Karma? Do you get them through credit monitoring? Or did you actually go to the annualcreditreport.com site. So back in 2003, the FACT Act was passed, and it allowed all of us across the United States to see at least 1, 2, and 3 of all of our personal credit reports and all of our specialty reports at least once every 12 months. So that was the FACT Act back in 2003. But because of the coronavirus, last year in April, they made some changes to annualcreditreport.com, and that is we are able to go in and see through annualcreditreport.com our true free credit report every week through April of next year. Originally last April, it was through April of 2021, but now they've given us another extension. So all the way through April 20th of next year, we are able to go into annualcreditreport.com and order all 3 Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax reports. Now, for those of you thinking, oh, I don't need to see I see it through another version, the true free report, the true full report comes from the 3 credit bureaus in annualcreditreport.com. So we give you the link here on the screen. It's just www.annualcreditreport.com. You'll enter the website. You'll say you want to order your reports, and then you will pick which of the 3. You're going to answer some general questions first, and then you'll pick one of the 3. Once you answer your questions appropriately for your file, then you can download that report. And they'll tell you that, okay, save that report, download it, then save it. And now that report will be available to you to look at, after and continue on looking at. Instead of waiting a year to get the next one, you can order again the following week. If you want to see how and when creditors report, we encourage this in our classes. You can monitor weekly or every other week or even once a month to see when changes appear on your credit report, when those creditors send items in to the 3 credit bureaus, if they send it to 1, if they send it to 2, or if they send it to all 3. Not all creditors, well, there's no rule that says creditors must report to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And with that said, there are additional personal credit reporting bureaus that collect data on us outside of Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So the companies that you have your credit business with, they may be using another company or not reporting at all. But the cool thing about the annualcreditreport.com being able to go in every week, you can monitor and see when those creditors actually send the data in. Now, you're not going to see a credit score with annualcreditreport.com. So it does not provide a free credit score like Credit Karma. Credit Karma, you can get a credit score. We'll talk about scores in a little bit. But just know that all scoring models are not the same. And just because we receive a score today doesn't mean that's going to be the score your lender is going to pull tomorrow. All right. So these are, you'll see on this annualcreditreport.com, you'll see your creditors, you'll see the information that's been reported, it'll show your past addresses, it will show your inquiries, your hard inquiries where you give them permission to check your credit when you applied for credit. But the main difference between your Credit Karma reports or any third-party report that's not coming directly from Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax, as the annualcreditreport.com report is, the main difference is your other reporting bureau, your other reports, versions of reports, do not share the soft inquiries. And it is so important to see those soft inquiries, and we're going to talk about those in just a minute. Okay, so soft inquiries are not on your Credit Karma. They're not on Quizzles. If Quizzle, I don't credit Sesame. I think those have pretty much merged into bankrate.com. But whatever you're seeing that's not an Experian direct or an Equifax direct or a TransUnion direct, you're not going to see your soft inquiries. Another real important report to see is our LexisNexis full file report. The the full file, and we give you the link on our slides here. The LexisNexis full file report is going to provide the other data that Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax don't report or don't collect. And one of the major things starting in 2018, summer of 2018, the three credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, no longer pull data, report any public records, except they will report bankruptcies. But if you've never had a bankruptcy, but somebody has sued you, or you just think somebody has sued you, the only way you're going to know if you have a public record against your name is to one, go to the different courthouses across the country, which you're probably not going to be able to do. But you can order your consumer full file, your LexisNexis full file report. When you get this LexisNexis, when you follow the prompts, you can order it online, you can download a form and mail it in. But however you order it, whether it's online using through their website, or you download the report and fill in the blanks and mail it in, you will get a letter back in the mail in about 10 to 14 days. Notice I said letter. You still will get a letter in the mail. And that letter is going to give you the information you need to be able to download your particular LexisNexis full file report. So yes, they send you a letter giving you a website and a PIN number that's specific to you. You only have 30 days to download that report before it vanishes. So you need to download that report. And you're going to be surprised. For those of you that have already been in our Credit Coalition classes, that's one of our homework assignments, to order these reports. Anyway, people in class tell us they're very surprised to see the amount of data. Your insurance records, your rental records, any of your residences you've lived at, rental records, your driving record can be listed in the LexisNexis full file. That's another report you receive. You may have any public records where someone has sued you and you have a judgment or lien against your name. That's going to be in the LexisNexis full file report from all over the country if you ever lived anywhere else. So these reports are usually pretty thick. They're anywhere from 15 pages to we've had as much as 362 pages. One of our class participants shared with us. She didn't share a report with us, but she shared that's what she got when she got it back. 362 pages. So these are not thin. If you were thinking that you don't have any data, well, you might be surprised. There may be some data that reported on you. But just like the annual creditreport.com reports are TransUnion, our Experian, our Equifax, and now these LexisNexis full files with all these different reporting bureaus within it, these different types of reports within it. If there's misinformation in any of these, you do not need to pay anybody to clean your report for you. You can clean your credit reports yourself for free, but they all start with getting a copy of the report. So I don't know if we have anybody on the call that is doing credit repair or they work for credit repair companies. But I'm of course, we are an entrepreneurial society, but we at the Credit Coalition, we truly believe that anything those companies can do for you for money, they have a fee involved that you have to pay, you can do for yourself for free. It takes your credit report or your specialty reports, these LexisNexis full files, and your time. Who else better knows your history than you? So again, order these reports. If there is misinformation on any of these reports, you do not need to pay anyone to clean it. Now, I know I'm hearing some noises, so I think there's somebody driving. But back to our reports here. When you get these, whether you download them or you get them mailed to you, if the LexisNexis will give you a phone number to call if you need it mailed to you versus printed out. But however you receive these, read through them, verify the information in there is correct. If it's incorrect, dispute it. Each of the bureaus, each of the reports will tell you how to dispute incorrect information. All right. So as we roll on, another way to get our credit reports for free outside of annualcreditreport.com every week, once a week, through April of next year, and of course the LexisNexis full file once a year. If you've been denied credit, employment, or insurance over the past 60 days, you're entitled to another free report through the Fair Credit Reporting Act directly from Experian or TransUnion or Equifax. And you'll know that you're entitled to that report, which this mattered more prior to COVID, before we were able to see our report every week. So for those of us thinking that, oh, my annualcreditreport.com only allowed me to see it once every 12 months, just know now, because of COVID, we are able to continue to see these weekly through next year. But after this goes away and after COVID goes to bed and doesn't come back again, and we get back on a regular schedule of all of these programs and opportunities to get these benefits, then we're back to just knowing the Fair Credit Reporting Act letting us see our reports for free if we've been denied credit, employment, or insurance over the past 60 days. You'll get a letter in the mail telling you that whatever you were applying for, you were declined, and it basically is an adverse action. And they're telling you that if they used one of the credit bureaus to make a decision or to help with their decision-making process, you're entitled to that free report. All right. Our next is we're also entitled to a free report if we certify in writing that we're unemployed and looking for work in the next 60 days. Again, that's the Fair Credit Reporting Act. We're entitled to see that report if we are unemployed looking for work. If we receive public assistance, we're also entitled to another free report. You have to certify in writing that you receive public assistance, send in a letter to each of the 3 credit bureaus, and you'll include your public award letter as well as something else with your name and address that matches that address. And then another reason, if our report is inaccurate because of fraud. If you believe you are a victim of fraud, many of us, we may be getting mail right now. Fraud is on the uptick, and people are starting to realize that their name, their good name, is being used to help somebody else when they had no intentions of helping that stranger or even that loved one. So if you believe or even just think that you may be a victim of fraud, we're entitled to another free report. And you can place a fraud alert on your credit reports, each of the 3 bureaus. And that fraud alert is good for a full year, a good 365 days. And that gives future creditors a warning, just gives them a warning that says, okay, if you pull Sherry Young's credit report and say I applied for credit, or someone in my name applied for credit using my name, and they get the alert from the credit bureau when they register to pull that file, that I have a fraud alert and I am declaring that I may be a victim of fraud. That particular creditor now is going to pause, or should pause, if they're pulling one of your 3 bureau reports. I'm getting back feedback from something here. So, okay, so back to just knowing you can file a fraud alert. It doesn't cost you any money. And in fact, now if you want to freeze your credit file, you can do that too without being a victim of fraud. So, again, another day, another class. So one more time here, ordering your personal credit reports through annualcreditreport.com or any of the 3 credit bureaus, your personal report, any of your specialty reports like the LexisNexis full file, those, if there was a credit score that could be calculated using those particular reports, just know these personal inquiries do not affect our credit scores. So you don't have to be afraid of ordering your personal reports. They do not affect our credit scores. Just think of this, our credit report, think about this as a financial report card. Sometimes I call it a mirror image. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Well, sometimes when we look in the mirror, I'll just say for myself, when I look in the mirror, I wonder, who is that person? Because I think, dang, did I forget to comb my hair today? I'm not going out and about like I used to. So sometimes it's just a shackle in my hands and my hair, and I think that's good enough. until I see myself on a Zoom screen or a Teams screen, and I think, oh my gosh, Sherry, find a comb, quick, or turn that camera off. But back to our credit report. All it does, it documents history that is reported. History that's reported. If your history is not sent in, is not reported to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, it's not going to be there. So those creditors, when you're applying for a loan, especially with these mortgage loans, most mortgage lenders will pull all 3 credit bureau reports, all 3, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, because they are trying to assess if you are going to be a good steward of this new mortgage loan. Are you going to be paying your bills on time based on your past payment history? Now, people tell me all the time in class, well, that's not fair. Just because I didn't pay something on time in the past doesn't mean I won't pay it in the future. Well, yeah, that's probably true, but you got to think about it. These companies are loaning us a lot of money to buy a home or whatever we're trying to buy, and they don't know us. They don't know how risky this relationship is going to be. So they have to use something, and they have to treat us all the same. So one of the factors they may use is that credit report. Again, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, trying to assess our ability to repay our future debts in a timely manner. Now, we talked about we're able to get our credit reports for free if we've been denied credit, employment, or insurance over the last 60 days. And the reason for that is many employers review credit reports as part of their background check process. When you apply for a job, and I know we're not talking about mortgage here, but when you apply for a job, you are filling out an application, and that application may have a section that you have to give permission if they're going to pull background checks. They'll have to tell you, we pull, let's say I'm company ABC, and on all applicants, we pull background checks. Well, background checks, there could be a lot of different types of background checks, and a credit report might be one of those. So companies, employers, if they're going to pull background checks, then you have to get permission. Some of us, we work for employers that check our credit as part of our employment review. Once we're up for a raise, or maybe we're up to just see if we can keep our job, it may be conditioned upon our credit situation too. So again, employers can pull credit. Now they're going to see a different version. They don't see a credit. They don't order a credit score, and they get a partial version. But they're going to see if we pay our bills on time, outstanding balances, but they're not going to see the account numbers or names. They're not going to know that I owe Macy's $1 gajillion, but they're going to know I owe somebody $1 gajillion, whether I pay them 30, 60, 90 days or more I'm late, or if I'm current. And so again, your employers may be able to pull reports if you give permission. Insurance companies review our credit reports when we apply for car, homeowners, or rental insurance. Yeah, those insurance carriers, they can pull credit. Now, the good news about employers pulls and insurance pulls, when those companies pull our credit, they don't affect our credit score. And the reason they don't affect our credit score is because those are soft inquiries. And the only way you're going to know if those companies, or if any company has pulled for employment or for insurance underwriting, in addition to the hard inquiries that you gave permission to, but the only way you're going to know about those softs is if you see the annual creditreport.com report, the Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. So don't think, I don't need to see it. Well, you may not know at this time that somebody has been using your good name to apply for insurance. If you have Home Insurance of America, I'm just making up a name, and when you pull your personal credit reports and you see the soft inquiry section and you see a Allstate or Farmers or XYZ insurance company with insurance underwriting inquiries, these are on the soft side, but it'll say their name, what day they pulled it, anything within the past 2 years it'll list. If you know that you did not apply for insurance with those companies, that could be an indication that somebody is using your name fraudulently. It could also mean it's a mistake. But you don't need mistakes on your personal credit report. I know soft inquiries, only person to see those are you and the credit bureaus, but you still don't need misinformation on your credit report. So when you get these credit reports back, if you see anything that's incorrect, dispute it. Dispute it, because you don't know what might affect you in the future. All righty, so I've already talked about this. Again, you can dispute the incorrect information on your credit report for free. If you don't recognize the information, please dispute it. Dispute it with each of the 3 credit bureaus. Now back to disputing. I dispute with Equifax. It's also on my TransUnion. Equifax is not going to call TransUnion and say, hey, Sherry's disputing this. Will you investigate this? No. I'm going to have to investigate, order that dispute with each of the 3 or each of the bureaus it's reported on. So don't just think I'm going to pull one and it'll be fine. You may think that if you see one bureau report and it doesn't have things listed that you thought might be there, well, guess what? It could be on the other 2 or one of the other 2. So get all 3. Do we have any questions or comments yet coming in? I'm just here blabbering away. Anything, Latasha?
Not just yet. Oh, we just had one come in. How can we stop a collection agency from reporting the same item?
Okay, so you can't stop them from reporting the same item, but what the rule is with the credit reporting bureaus is this: that company must list who the original creditor was and when that account was originally opened. And so eventually, one good thing about the credit bureau reports, eventually derogatory information, negative information falls off. And if I'll go back to Macy's. Let's see, it's 21, so that'd have been 14. So let's say in December of 14, I had a Macy's bill that was 30 days late. I missed my December payment. And so it shows I was late December of 14. That is staying on my credit report 7 years from the last time I was late. Eventually, that is going to turn into a positive, disappears. And so December of this year, 7 years from the last time I was late, by this year, December, there's going to be, or January of 22, there will be no sign of me ever being late with that Macy's because it's been more than 7 years. But let's say that went to charge off. I owed Macy's in December. I quit paying it in June, and by June of 14, and by the time we get to December of 14, it's gone to charge off status. Well, that could stay on my report 7 years and another 180 days from the last time I was late that caused it to go to charge off status. So that would be back, I went to charge off status. I went late in June, went to charge off status 6 months later. And so here I am, December of 14, 7 years forward. It'll come off my credit report. That charge off status will disappear. And every collector that bought that debt between December of 14 through December of this year, any entity that reported it to my credit report because I said I didn't pay it, I didn't owe y'all, I'm not paying this. Nope, I'm not paying it. So by the time we get to this December, any company that was collecting on behalf of that old debt, those fall off too. The problem is when the collectors send their data to the credit bureaus prior to about 2 years ago, they didn't have to include the original debt information. Well, now they do. And so I would say they haven't corrected it, but they have adapted to this new way of reporting that if a creditor, a collection company, is collecting on behalf of Macy's, but they don't say this was Macy's from December of 2014, then it shouldn't even be placed on our credit report. But sometimes these companies get creative and they make it look like it's a brand new debt. So that's why it's important for me to look at my credit report. And now every week through next year, through next April, look at my credit report. And if I see anything that's incorrect, I dispute it. Say, no, when that item is on there, that's with Macy's. They don't record this as Macy's, but that's that Macy's bill. I dispute it with Experian or Equifax or TransUnion, whichever one's reporting to. They're going to do their the credit bureau will do their investigation. It could take 30 to 45 to 60 days to run the investigation. And they're either going to, as a result, they're either going to remove it because the creditor did not answer. It's going to be removed. Or they're going to update it, correct it to show it was the old Macy's. Or they're going to say, no, Sherry, this is really this is correct. This creditor submitted this information. It's not your Macy's, it's something else. So again, it's up to me to look at my credit report and dispute what's incorrect. I know that we're getting some chat in there, but I just can't see it. So I don't know if
Sherry, we have another question. We have several. The first one is, why do companies make hard inquiries if they know that it would affect my credit?
Okay, so companies make hard inquiries. They don't care about how it affects your credit. They're caring about themselves. They need to make sure that you meet their credit profile. And the only way they're going to do that is to follow the law, and if they're going to investigate, if they're going to order a credit report on you, then that's a hard inquiry. They don't care if it messes with your credit score. What they care about is their bottom line. So, but we care as a consumer. So if I'm going to share something here, if you are thinking of getting yourself in the path of home ownership, you're thinking about buying a home in the next 12 months, at least 12 months out, sometime between now and 12 months, we suggest at the Credit Coalition, you stop shopping for new credit. And we're going to say on here in a little bit, don't close any credit. Just leave it alone until you talk to the lender of your choice. And that is, we suggest if you're going to buy a home, if you're anticipating buying a home, start with who you have a banking relationship with. Start with your bank or credit union. And ask them, do y'all offer a first-time buyer or an affordable mortgage product? And lender, will you use the City of Houston Down Payment Assistance Program? Will you let me as a home buyer use that program? Do you participate in that program? Now, one thing really good, I'm not here to talk about the program itself, but one thing really good about the City of Houston program, they don't have a designated lender list, so any lender is able to use the program if they're willing to. So that's a question you want to add. Latasha, do you want to add anything there?
No, I was going to go to the next question once you finish.
Okay. All right, go. So yeah, they request hard inquiries because that's what happens when a creditor pulls your credit. It's a hard inquiry unless it's employment or unless it's insurance. It's hard. If you can, yes, you can. I can see these now. You can order all 3 reports for free. Annualcreditreport.com is free. Can I say it again? Free. Totally free. They're not going to ask you for a credit card. If somebody's asking you for a credit card or a form of payment, you are in the wrong site. If you do a Google search for free credit reports, it's going to bring you up to all these companies that are willing to have you order a monitoring or let us give you this for free for the next 7 days, but we need your credit card now. You are in the wrong site. Annualcreditreport.com will not ask for any form of payment. It is truly free. I don't know what credit analysis means, but if you are, maybe you can clarify that. But when I will just say, when a creditor is trying to determine whether or not we are credit worthy, whether or not we will pay the bill, whatever we're applying for. That's a credit analysis. That could be what you're asking. Otherwise, if you can type in and be a little bit more clear what you want me to say there. I would just say this. If you are having a difficult time disputing something and you dispute it with the Bureau, you may need to go ahead and upload to the credit bureau you're disputing with your, I hate to use proof, but that's, right now my brain can't think of another word for it, but your verification, I'll try that, your verification of why you say you don't owe it. And again, if you had insurance at the time, that's something else new that's happened in the past 2 years. If I have a medical item, if I have a medical collection, the medical collection cannot be reported to Experian or TransUnion or Equifax until it's at least 180 days old, until it's at least 6 months old from the time it started in the collection status. Now, I don't know if anybody on here is in medical billing, but from what I understand, as soon as I leave that doctor's office, if they're going to have to file on my insurance, they're probably going to already move me over to the collections to make sure that they're in line in case my insurance doesn't pay. So again, it has to be at least 6 months before it can be reported now. Now, with that said, if your insurance company actually pays 100% of the debt or 100% of the bill, then it cannot be reported on the credit bureau at all. Let's say it took 10 months for the insurance company to pay 100%. So 6 months later, it got reported, and then it finally got paid in full at month 10. You didn't have to pay any of it. Insurance paid it all. Well, it's supposed to, the way the system works, it's supposed to just fall off. But if I'm responsible for 20% of the bill, and I didn't pay my 20%, and they have to collect on me because I didn't pay that can stay on the credit report. And even after I pay it in full, it should say paid in full, or it should say settled for less the amount owed, or whatever, however I paid my 20% or whatever my portion was, my deductible, whatever it was. It's going to indicate that in the past, I had a medical bill that went to collections, but I paid it in full. So you'll just have to explain. One thing good about the mortgages today, the medical debt does not carry the same weight as a credit card or a utility bill or another, any type of other loan payment. Let's see. Yes, send the letter to X, dispute it with your proof. Will they add interest to a collection? If they have fees they add to it, I would say that is a question for Lone Star Legal Aid or one of the attorneys on how much interest they can add. But again, if they're collecting a debt, just know that depending on the type of debt it is, you may have additional fees added to it. Okay, you should check your credit report. Right now, we should check it at least, because we can get it for free through annualcreditreport.com. Even though the law lets us get it every week, we should at least check it every month. Take advantage of it at least once a month. And then when this ruling goes beyond, when we finish April of next year, unless they do another extension, just know that we're able to see them once a year through annualcreditreport.com. And the website is annualcreditreport.com, www.annualcreditreport.com. I would just say that if you're applying for a loan, the lender's going to do a credit analysis. They are going to pull your credit report. They're going to verify your outstanding debts, verify your outstanding balances, and verify your payment history. That's what they're doing. They're going to do an analysis. Yes, they are. They will do an analysis. Okay, so back to our slides. Only incorrect or inaccurate information can be updated or removed. Correct information will stay on your credit report. No matter what those companies tell you for money, they can get it off. Know that incorrect data can be removed. Correct data that is not, that I don't like, is not removed unless the company that put it there removed it. So the only entity that can take it off is the company that put it on there. So like I said, maybe that Macy's, they put on that I was late 30 days in December of 14, and I'm finally getting around now to dispute it. And the credit bureau did their investigation, and it comes back that Macy's had all the supporting documentation to show that I was really 30 days late. Well, I have other data. So I call up Macy's and I say, look, I have my bills from January of 2014, and I show that I paid this in full. Oh, Macy's, oh, we're really sorry. You know, we thought you were Sherry Young with a Y, not Sherry Young with an IE, and we had your records superimposed upon the other Sherry, misspelled name. I'm making this up, but just so that happened. And so now they can say, oh, we're really sorry, Miss Young. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pull that record from the bureaus. I want to get that in writing, that they are removing that incorrect item from the bureau. The bureau did their investigation. Macy's sent the supporting documents that said it was correct. My late payment was correct. I now have supporting documentation to Macy's saying, nah, you guys are wrong. That wasn't me. And they correct it. Now, if only it was that easy, right? But again, communication is the key, and time. That's why we also suggest in our classes that if your plan for home ownership is within the next 12 months, you need to start working on this credit now. You need to get these credit reports now. So if there is any misinformation, you can start remedying it. You can start working on it. You can start preparing your plan of action. Okay. So back to the scoring models. Our scores, they're going to be different no matter, depending on who you pull your score from, when you pull your score, which score you're pulling, and the lender. The scores that your lender pulls are most likely going to be different from the one you see. They pull scores specific to their product. Whatever model they're using for their particular loan product, that's what they're ordering. And they don't tell me, Sherry, we're ordering a FICO 02. We have a FICO 2. Well, wow, they haven't really, for consumers, we haven't seen a FICO 2 in a lot of years. But that's still a FICO 2 is one of the scoring models that's available to lenders. And so if that's how they have their company set up, if that's the type of score they order, then that's what they're going to get. Now, the chance for them to tell you or tell me, we order a FICO score, they're not going to know. Most likely the loan officer doesn't even know which bureau report they use or the scoring model they use. So I would just say this. If you get a score today, if you're using Credit Karma, if you are using Discover Scorecard, if you are ordering Credit Wise with Capital One, the Credit Wise, so you don't have to have a Capital One account. With Discover Scorecard, you don't have to have a Discover card. But these are different ways we're entitled to see a score, a different type of score, but a score. So each score, no matter what model we're looking at, what model we receive or which model the lender receives, all it is, it's derived by a statistical program. And they're using, if they order a score, if they're using a score along with our credit report, the data in the report, you have to have data in your report to have a score. In order to have a score, we need to have at least something reporting to the credit bureau. We can't be deceased or reported as deceased. You'd be surprised on how many people in our classes find out that they don't have a credit score because there's been a mistake made because they're a junior or a third or senior and the person with their similar name is deceased. not their social security number, but their name. And so it was flagged, and now they cannot get a score is not available because they're flagged as deceased. So that you need time to correct that with the credit bureaus to prove you're not deceased. But back to the score itself, it helps the creditors determine what terms they're going to offer you, your rate, your interest rate, and how low they'll go or how high they'll go. Yes, Miss Latasha, something come up?
Yes, we have several questions. One, does student loans play a major factor on your credit report? And also, if our credit card collections the main thing home lenders focus on? If not, what is something that what they really focus on?
Okay, so first question is about student loans.
Yes.
Student loans are going to be, if you have a student loan, it should be listed right now. It's a federally insured loan, and you were current when in April of last year or March of last year, right now you're not required to make any payments, and no interest is being accumulated on that loan, and you're being showed as being current. If you have a private student loan, your private lender may not have put you in a pause or forbearance, so that's why it's important to see what your credit report says so you can explain it. In today's market, in today's mortgage market, I'm not a mortgage lender, but I'll just say what we learned from our classes. Yes, they use either your student loan minimum payment that's reported on the credit bureau report, whatever the minimum payment is, they're going to use that in your debt to income ratio calculation. Or if you're on an income-based repayment plan, or you're in deferred status where you don't make any payments at all and it's not showing a payment, they may be using 1 to 1.5 to 2% of your student loan balance in the calculation of your affordability. So you'll be having this information probably presented to you next week or the week after when they're talking about qualifying for mortgage loans. But just know, yes, our student loans are, I won't say held against us, but they're part of our credit history. And they will include a payment of some sort. Every lender's different. Loan types are different, whether it's FHA or conventional, or whether it's a VA or a USDA rural loan. It's all different, how they calculate student loans. So that's a question for your lender. What was the second question?
The second question was, are credit card collections the main thing home lenders focus on? If not, what is something that they really focus on?
Okay, they focus on everything. They're going to focus on whatever your history is. So if you know when you get your credit reports back and you see you have a collection item, depending how old it is, it may not be impacting your credit score much, because the older it is, closer to that 7 years from when it happened, it may not be affecting your score as much. It also may not be an item that your particular lender's product cares about. So rather than saying, oh, you need to do this or you should take care of this, again, we refer you back to the lender of your choice. Have them look at your credit report. If they'll look at your personal copy, see if they'll do that. And have them say, based on what they see there, not all lenders will do this, but some of the affordable lending partners will. Start with your bank or credit union and ask them, based on my credit report, what do you need to see in order to make me more favorable for a loan product at this bank or credit union? They're not going to say, if you do this, you'll get that, because you'll have to apply for the product for them to do an underwriting, doing a verification of employment, do a verification of your debts, doing a verification of all of your data, your bank statements. So again, but just know that they're going to look at everything, but it depends on the loan product and how soon it happened and how much it is. So once you know what your credit report says about yourself, correct the incorrect information, and then learn to live with what's there for at least the period of time that it still needs to be there, and be prepared to explain it. Be prepared to explain it. Okay? The different, I see here, what about, how likely is the different credit report agencies show different information? Yes, they'll probably show different information even on the same account, because it depends when that creditor reports to Experian or to Equifax or to TransUnion. They may not be on the same reporting cycle for the 3 different bureaus. So again, you need to see those reports so you can explain to it. Debt ratio calculation. Well, maybe at the end we will talk about that, because that's going to be handled with another class. But the debt to income, I'll just kind of throw this out there. We're going to talk about utilization when we get there. Hang with that question, and I'll try to get back to that, okay, before we finish tonight. I see I have another unread message. Anything else? Latasha, anything else that you see?
Can you explain debt to ratio
Debt to
calculation?
income. Okay, so you weren't listening to me, were you, ma'am? Miss Latasha. So let me just say this. When a lender calculates, when you calculate your own debt to income ratio, come to the Credit Coalition class, week 4, we do this. But you will take all of your debts and you divide it by debt to income. Divide it by your gross monthly income. When I say your debts, your minimum monthly payments required on your credit cards, your payments required on all of your installment loans, anything that's reported to the credit bureau, 1% possibly of your student loan balance if you're not making payments at this time. So you add those debts up, divide it by your income, debt to income, and you're going to get a percentage. That's your debt to income ratio. And you're going to learn about that in probably your next class or next month. If you decide to join the Credit Coalition classes in July when we return, we'd love to have you. But we go into detail and give everybody the homework assignment to order it. Again, if there's something I can tell the group after the class, I don't know if y'all want to stay on a little longer, if that's even permissible, we can talk a little bit more about it. Okay? Is that good?
Yes.
No? Okay.
I have one more question.
All right.
They wanted to know, does child support go on your credit report?
Oh, good. Okay, it's a good question. Okay, if you are in arrears, if the Attorney General is coming after you to pay child support, it may be in public records. It may be there. It is going to be used in your debt to income calculations. If you have outstanding child support, you're not in a payment plan, you're not paying, you're most likely not going to be able to get a mortgage loan until you get into a payment plan showing not necessarily your arrears aren't current, but you're in a payment plan with your arrears. And you're paying at least, most lenders want to see at least 90 days of on-time payments, if not longer, if you're paying. So if you're receiving child support, you're going to be probably in a letter from the Attorney General's office showing your receipt of child support, and when it gets, and you'll have proof that you're receiving it because it's being deposited into your bank account. But again, if you're paying child support, they're going to want to see that you are considered in an on-time payment or you don't have to be, you can be paying your arrears, but you have to be in a current repayment plan. Okay, good. All right. So just know there's numerous credit scoring models available in the marketplace. There's probably over 100 different scoring models, if not more. And I'm going to show you right here. There's the FICO Score. There's the Vantage Score. Most lenders, about 90% of all lenders, use the FICO scoring model. When you're getting your Credit Karma, for those of you that order your report through Credit Karma and you get to see a free credit score, that is a Vantage Score. That score is owned by Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. It is not the same as a FICO Score. Not the same. If you're using CreditWise, again, that's through Capital One. I'm not saying you should go to Capital One. I'm just saying that they offer a free CreditWise download program, and you can see a score. That is a Vantage Score. If you want to see a free FICO score, you can use that Discover Scorecard. That's a free FICO TransUnion score. Different scores, different models, different mathematical models. So let's go back to FICO real quick. For a FICO score, you need to be alive. You have to have at least one item reported on time, or one item reported to the credit bureaus in a 6-month period. So you need to use your credit at least once every 6 months. Something has to be reported to have a credit score according to FICO. 35% of our score is based on our payment history. How do we pay our bills? Do we pay them on time or not? 30% is what is owed. That's our utilization. Free FICO score, you can get a free one through Discover Scorecard. That's a free TransUnion score. There's other ways, but right now that's the one that's in my brain. Again, you do not have to be a Discover card customer, and they're not going to try to sell you anything they say. Okay, so back to the amounts owed, 30%. This is utilization. This is going to be how much balance versus our limits. How much are we using? Length, the time of credit we've had. How long have we been in the credit system with TransUnion or Experian or Equifax? That is 15% of our score. 15%. New credit, inquiries. This is where the inquiries come in. It's only 10% of our score, but people are so worried about inquiries. What would hurt us more about the inquiries, if you're applying for a mortgage loan and you have credit inquiries and but you have not opened any credit, that's a flag to the lender saying, I've been checking my credit. I've been going to Gallery Furniture. I'm getting ready to buy that furniture, but I'm not buying it yet. I'm going to wait till I'm a homeowner. Well, if you wait till you're a homeowner and you get a new debt, how's that going to impact your payments to your mortgage company? And so they don't like to see inquiries. Types of credit use, another 10%. That's whether it's revolving credit cards, national bank cards, store cards, auto loans. Are you using the tote the note lots or the small dollar loan places where you borrow every 6 months and pay something off? Again, that's in the FICO score. The Vantage Score scores us on the same numeric 300 to 850, but they count things differently. I can't even tell you how they count things. They keep changing their model, but I'll just say they count things differently. If you pull your Credit Karma score and you see a TransUnion score or an Equifax score, with Credit Karma, you do not see an Experian score. But if you see TransUnion and you see Equifax, Credit Karma, those are Vantage, and then you go to Discover Scorecard just the same minute, just as soon as you can see your Karma score with TransUnion, you order that Scorecard score. Those are both TransUnion. I'll be very surprised if they're the same. They're probably not the same. Now, which one's going to be higher or lower? Who knows? It depends on what's reported on your bureau report, and it depends on what that score, how their calculations are. All right. So those are, one more thing. Oh, I love this one. Okay, Candace, I'm going to say your name, because if you were in our Fundamentals of Good Credit class, I would give you a prize. I would say I would give you my cell phone tonight, because I feel very generous, but I really won't give you my cell phone. I'll just say that. So her question is it true that when shopping for a home or car loan, although you have several hard inquiries, it doesn't hurt your score as multiples within a certain period of time? Okay, so that is called, and we're going to get to that, but I might as well say it right now. When you are shopping for a mortgage, if you are shopping for an auto loan, if you are shopping for a student loan, we have some benefits with the FICO scoring model, and that is any inquiry. So these are three separate bags, so they're not the same. So we're talking mortgage here, so let's talk about car loans first. So I am looking for a car, I have, my car went kaput. I need a new car, and they're telling me now's the time to buy it. So I'm not shopping for a house yet, but I'm shopping for my car. And I'm thinking my home is a little further out. Okay, further down the calendar. Any inquiry starting today. So let's say I'm going to start I know I'm shopping for a car. I would say this. First thing I do is I go to my bank or credit union, get pre-approved. Know what your buying power is before you walk into those dealerships. Before you start shopping online, know what your buying power is with your bank, your credit union. Know what your terms are, your rate, how many months. So rate is the interest rate, how many months, and what is the monthly payment going to be. Now you take that, and that's an inquiry. Let's say I'm going to scoot it up a little so I can make the calendar work for me. Let's say I did it on June 1st. And so I went to my bank or credit union on Saturday. No, that would be on Tuesday. Went to my bank or credit union the day after the holiday because they were closed on Monday. And I get my pre-approval. They approved me for a $25,000 auto loan. My payment's going to be $258. I don't even know that's right. My payment's going to be low, and I can go shopping for $25,000 worth of car. I go to the first dealership. First thing they ask me, Miss Young, we have a great deal going here. I don't know what I just did. I think I just changed something. We have a great deal going here. We have good in-house financing. I said, no, I don't need you. I already have my financing. I know what my payment is. I can shop for $25,000. Show me that car. I'm not spending more than $25,000. And so they start helping me find the right car. Well, I decide that they tell me, but Ms. Young, can you tell me what your interest rate is with your credit union? I say it's 3.9. Well, that's a really good rate, but you know that here at Volkswagen, we have a 0.9%. 0.9. You've already picked your car out. We've already shopped it. We're not going to add any bells and whistles. We're good to go for this $25,000 vehicle. But if you let us shop, can you let us shop and see if we can get a better rate for you, this 0.9%. That's going to save you about $30 a month on I'm just making this up, $30 a month on your payment. That'd be good for you, right, Miss Young? Well, yeah, but now I'm going to buy a house soon. The good news is any inquiry that started on that day one, so June 1, through the next 14 to 30 days, depending on which FICO scoring model your lender's using. Again, don't know which one they're using, but to be a conservative, let's say it's 14 days. Any auto inquiry in those first 14 days do not affect our credit score at all. Nada, nothing, not at all. But on day 15, if it's the 14-day model, on day 15, so on June 15th, now any auto inquiry that I've had in the past 45 days get put into one bucket. So if in this 2-week period, starting June 1, and let's say the car dealer they shopped 7 different lenders to find that good rate for me, but couldn't find it. Nope, didn't. I'm sorry, Miss Young, we just couldn't get it for you. Well, the good news is, for those first 14 days, doesn't affect me at all. And then on day 15, on June 15th, it goes backwards in time in 45-day buckets. Any auto inquiry gets lumped together in those 45 days as only one. So it allows us the ability to shop without hurting our credit scores. The same goes for a mortgage. Same with a mortgage. The first 14 days from that first mortgage inquiry out. So once you get your once you get your loan estimate with a quote, of course they're going to say, okay, now we don't know for sure, you're not locked into this, but now you can take that loan estimate and shop with other lenders and see if they can beat that deal. The first 14 days doesn't affect us at all. Now, those are different buckets. So if I shop for an auto loan, those are auto loan buckets. If I shop for a mortgage loan, I'm in the mortgage loan bucket. And if I shop for student loan, those are in student loan buckets. But the key here is for each of those buckets, we can shop. And it goes backwards in time, back to the last 12 months. Back to the last 12 months. So after your credit inquiries only affect you for 12 months. They stay on our credit report for 24 months, but they only affect us for 12 months. Okay, so you get the prize tonight. All right, so back to, oh my goodness, is it true having a credit card helps to improve our credit score? It depends. And I would say before you start opening new debt, you need to talk to the lender of your choice to find out if it's even something that would benefit you. Because it could be adding new debt to you that now you have, it affects your debt ratio. Or they may tell you, yes, you need some additional debt to meet our credit profile. But if you're going to use a credit card, if you're using a revolving account, that account has to be open at least 6 months for it to help your score. Keep your balance low, which we'll talk about in a moment here. Okay, so let's go back into step number 2. My goodness. I'm glad we're going to 7:30. Step number 2, know who and what you owe. Prepare a debt worksheet and include all of your outstanding debt. So back to this. You're going to fill out, based on your credit report and who you know you pay, a list of, which we share, and if you want, Latasha, I can send that to you. You can send it out to others, the debt worksheet we use for our classes. But
Okay.
You just list out all of your creditors, your contact when the account was open, very important, some type of information that identifies that, like the last 4 digits, the contact phone number, what's your limit on that particular account, how much do you owe as of this month. So this is your debt worksheet for this month. And then you're going to list out your amount owed, your limit, and then you're going to do a calculation. You're going to calculate your utilization. How much of this particular account are you using? That's very important back to that FICO scoring model. 30% of our score is our utilization. And then you're going to we want you to list your minimum payment required, not what you pay, but your minimum payment. If it's a revolving account, minimum revolving or credit cards. And then the billing date. When is that bill generated? And that way, once you put that in writing, it's going to help you have a focus on what you plan on doing in the future. So we share in our classes that once you know what your balance is, to build your credit score, to help your FICO score, get your balances low. Have your balances be lower than 30%. The best for FICO, to have a good FICO score, they like to see very little utilization, anywhere from 1% to 6%. That's, if I have a $300 credit limit, 6% of that, 6 times 3 is $18. That's not much money at all. 30% of that would be $90. So you want to keep the balance as low as possible, and we encourage you to pay the bill off in full when it comes. If you pay it in full, you're not paying any interest. And then use that card again the next month. Have the bill generated, small amount, and then when the bill comes in, pay it in full. You are building your credit history that way. And the FICO scoring model likes to see low usage, but payment on time. Do not close any existing accounts. We talked about that already. And instead, put those credit cards away in a safe and secure place. Maybe if that credit card keeps calling you and saying, use me. Okay, so yes, I'm saying you should use that card. According to FICO, it needs to be reported at least once every 6 months. But if you're the kind of person that just can't stop using it, but it's a sale and I need to use it, or I'm going to get cash back. If you're trying to build a credit score, you want to keep your balances low. But if you're the kind of person that just pulls out the card, I'll buy dinner this month, I'll buy dinner this week, I'll buy the groceries for the grandkids, I don't care, I'll do this, I have my credit card, I'll do it and I'll pay it later, worry about it later. If you are inclined, the kind of person that likes to use your accounts, I'm not telling you what to do, but sometimes it's good to drop that card in a gallon freezer bag, fill it up with water, stick it in the freezer. It's there waiting for you, but you might need that cooling off period. You have to defrost the block of ice and defrost it like a Thanksgiving Day turkey. You gotta put it in that bathtub, let it soak down until that block of ice disappears so you can use that card again. So again, just put it in a secured place and stop accumulating debt. Create your spending plan. I asked you to track your spending for a full month. Everybody in class does that. You need to know what it takes to live your financial life in order to make any changes to your financial life, if changes are necessary or if you feel they're needed. So you don't know what it really costs you until you write it down. And we suggest you write down all your credit card use, all your cash use, all your debit card use, anything payment by phone, payment electronic, write it all down and categorize it. Take a look at what does it take to live your financial life for a month. And then make adjustments the next month. Pay yourself first. That should be one of your bills. Pay yourself first. Build your savings. When you're buying a home, your lender's going to want to see you have money in your bank account. They may want to see reserves after you go to closing. So that means at least 1 or 2 or 3 months worth of payments still in the bank when you close on your mortgage loan. So savings is important. If you are, after you talk to the lender of your choice and they say that to be more favorable, you need to pay X, but maybe they don't care about Z. That's lender A. Lender B says, okay, we want you to take care of X and Z. And lender C says, you know, for this loan product, we don't care about X or Z. We want to see that money in the bank. Every lender underwrites differently. So just don't think if you do one thing, it's going to get you an automatic yes. Or if you have a certain situation, it's going to get you an automatic no. Attend a home buyer education class. I can't say that enough. For those of you that are interested in home ownership in the future, people tell me all the time, well, my certificate's only good for 12 months from completion. Why would I take it now when I'm going to buy my house out a year from now? We suggest you take it now so you understand the process. So you have information that you can work with and work on if necessary. The more information we have, the better informed we are. The better informed you are, the better informed choices you make. So if you're just letting, my husband says sometimes I'm just like another pathetic sheep following the herd. We were at the grocery store earlier today, and we're waiting in a line, and the box is off, you know, their light's off. But we're waiting in line because other people were waiting in that line. There only had one register with a light on. And so we wait in the line where people are waiting. She wasn't seeing any more people. And so my husband says, you know, if one of us would have stood in the other line, at least we'd be seen sooner. You know, we just follow. Sometimes we just follow the steps others, we think others lead us to. We need to be informed. We need to understand the process. And taking that home buyer education class is going to help you understand the process. Is the process always going to be the same? No. That process is constantly changing. Latasha, how many times has our program or these programs changed with the City of Houston Harvey money? I don't know if you want to say it. Often. Did you say the word often? Did you say that? Or am I putting words in your mouth?
No, often.
Often. And so don't be mad at the providers. Don't be mad at your mortgage lender. If you talked to somebody 6 months ago and you think the program is still what it is, no. Our life changes. My goodness, life happens. Programs change. New programs come out. You might find something better for you. Communication is the key. We give you here on how to find the HUD housing counseling agencies, but you know what? You can go right to the Harvey Homebuyer Assistance Program link, recovery.houstontx.gov, and you can find the list. They're going to give you the links going down on the steps to their program on how to go to the HUD website to find a HUD-approved housing counseling agency that provides the classes that you're looking for. All of our agencies, we're all different. We offer our programs in different ways. Our classes, Commercial for the Credit Coalition, our classes, we meet once a week for 6 weeks. The requirement is it must have a minimum of an 8-hour, at least an 8-hour class. Some of the agencies send you to an online class where you're taking a test, and then you follow up with that particular counselor at that particular agency with one-on-ones. Our agency, what we do a 6-week class. We meet once a week for 6 weeks, 2.5 hours a segment. That's a total of 15 hours. And so you're spending 15 hours with us doing homework, getting your credit reports. A lot of things we talked about today you'll get in detail. But again, every agency is different. But one thing common among the HUD-approved housing counseling agencies, when you receive their certificate with their completion date, All of our completion dates all of our certificates are valid 12 months from completion. That's it, 12 months. There's no Harvey, oh, I'm sorry, or there's no COVID relief because you didn't buy in the past 12 months during COVID, you don't get an extension. No. HUD is very clear that when the Housing Counseling Agency sign your certificate verifying that you have completed their particular component, their particular class, that counseling agency is certifying that you've done that. And I don't know any housing counseling agencies that's going to put their HUD status on at risk to fudge the numbers or to fudge your hours or to do something for one person and not for the other. It is very important that all the housing counseling agencies follow whatever their particular housing counseling plan is, and we're all different. All right, so just remember, to be an informed consumer, you need to order your free personal and credit reports, your LexisNexis full file. Monitor those credit reports. There's plenty of opportunities to see these reports for free where they don't affect our credit scores. Dispute your incorrect items and learn to live with what is there and be able to explain. Pay your bills on time. Going forward, pay all your bills on time. Be patient. It takes time and discipline to build or improve your credit history and credit scores. And here I am. It is 7:19. I think we have about 11 more minutes. They told me we had till 7:30. I'll say this about classes. Every agency is different. That's going to be a question you need to ask. The Credit Coalition, our class, everything we do at the Credit Coalition is free. This is my commercial time. This is our 30th year. That's right, 30 years. We started our first class in 1992, and we have been free since we began, and we continue to be free today. But every agency is different, so it's important you ask those questions. How do you offer your class? Does it meet the guidelines for any particular special program? Number 3, how much